Excellent. Good morning, everybody. But today it's going to be more of a short and sweet one. Not only are we going to be talking about mastering the brilliant demo, but also going to be doing a nice little AMA at the end. So, as far as an introduction, I am your speaker and your host. You all know me as Oki. I head up our customer engagement. That's really fancy talk for I wear many caps. I do sales enablement, I do sales, I do customer success, project management, beta testing, webinar series, training and education, kind of you name it. I was even running some scripts while beta testing some products the other day. So I can be that jack of all trades for us. Also, I can get deep into the weeds as well if some of you have technical questions. Kind of nice to be the product expert to really support you in all of your endeavors about, capabilities, what we can and cannot do, best practices, things like that. So always feel free to use me as that sales enablement arm. If you do have questions, your natural account manager, whether it be Marcus, Matt Wilbanks, Dan Ross, they'll of course always be there for you as well. But please utilize and we'll keep the account managers in the loop for everything that's happening. But what we're going to do today, this is our agenda here. So we're going to talk about, each of these points to really facilitate the whole idea of mastering the demo, not just from the brilliant side of the picture, but really all of your demos and your experiences and what you're providing out there. Because obviously you're selling more than just our product, but really what makes all of those different things shine to help you, close more deals, be more profitable, all those different pieces that really make a great experience. So really we're going to start foundation with what makes a good demo. We'll delve a little bit into that. Also, how to help you really sell your brand and your experience. I've been able to create a brand for myself. I think it does well. I hope it does all right. I think the team thinks it does a good job, but really making sure you're able to understand what your brand is, helping to sell that, really walking through the fundamentals of knowing your stuff, being able to be that product expert on what you're selling. A foundational piece, inspect what you expect. And I'll delve a little bit more into that later, but it's something I take very much to heart, something I picked up from an old mentor when I was first getting into the working world. Of course, we want to practice all these things to make sure they're doing exactly what we want them to do. And then we'll wrap it up after all of that on the demo side with a nice little AMA or an Ask Me Anything, if you're familiar with the Reddit side. So I will do my best to answer everything that I possibly can. I can pull the curtain back a little bit. I can't pull the curtain back all the way, of course, but whether it be product related, integration related, how something works, kind of our strategy, anything like that, I will do my best to answer, really anything that's on your mind that would give you some, clarity around business, clarity around your vision, clarity around the product, really anything that's out there. And we will keep it, of course, on the business side. You don't need to know what I'm doing in my free time because that's boring. Nobody wants that. So really what makes a good demo? And I put some time thinking into this yesterday because most of you have probably seen my demo in my house that I run around and do. And if you haven't, please email me afterwards, oki@brilliant.tech. We'd love to show you that demo, bringing the experience to life. And I was trying to really hone in on what those core pieces are. And I was thinking, well, is it, how I do something or something like that? And for me, it kind of came down for these three pieces of, this was what made, I feel my demos here in the house really sell for a great experience. Number one is the energy. And energy is so important because people will match the energy that you bring to your experiences and these demos. If I was to come in and give the demo that I give inside of my house and I'm not excited about it, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going through the motions like, cool, I swipe up, I swipe down, the light turns on and off. Awesome. Or, hey, it's a photo album that we have on our Brilliant. And I just kind of leave it at that. That's not engaging. People aren't drawn to that. People are drawn to energy and the excitement. So, for me, these demos, I've given them, gosh, in the 6+ years I've been with Brilliant, well into the hundreds of times I've given that demo. So it looks clean, it looks smooth, but each time it's a unique experience. So I always try to focus on bringing that right energy that specific client is looking for. Now, not all of them want super high energy, but they do want, to be informed. They do want to be direct. And you'll know from speaking to that client what's going to really resonate with them. But kind of that energy matching is always a big thing to make sure people are getting at least excited about the product. For me, it was clarity. what does the product solve? I hit very hard on leaning into what we do different here at Brilliant, saying, hey, what are those core pieces that differentiate us? What do we solve? If you want a clean custom look, well, there's no extra gear, no extra hubs, no extra wires. We don't do any of that stuff. Now we're delivering that truly custom built-in look. Great. The confusion of, hey, and I know my video is small right now, but we have the home control folder and we have all these apps. And no, we have all these apps and all these apps. And we use all of these apps. Why not have one app that solves everything? And I have my phone and I pull it up and I'm like, yeah, that's, my 15-second elevator pitch. Hey, who do you work for? What do you do? I literally show on my phone, like, you see this folder? I turn this into this. That's what we're solving for. So when you're thinking about, your brand and your experience, what can we solve? That's what my demo does. We're solving for the complications. And then, of course, storytelling. When I give these presentations and demos, I'm trying to draw as many relevant anecdotes as I possibly can to show how it really gets rid of these pain points inside of my life. The anecdotes you've generally heard me use is for the Brilliant intercom feature. I would say, and this is true, before Brilliant, I'm the chef in the house, and I would yell across the house when to my wife when dinner's done, like, hey babe, dinner's ready. Hey babe, dinner's ready. And of course I don't hear anything, so I walk on back and I say, hey hun, dinner's ready. And she says, I heard you. Snap back. Like, sorry, I'm cooking. It's loud over here. And I'm sure some of you can relate, whether it's you're being the chef yelling across the house to the kids, to the family, or you're on the other side of that. You're like, what? I didn't hear you. And they're like, I said, dinner's ready. Now I can just intercom to say, hey hun, dinner's ready. And sure enough, she rejects the intercom and just comes on out like, oh yeah, no, dinner's ready. Sweet. That's one instance of a really nice intercom or an anecdote. Another one I'll use is the live view feature from the camera here on the phone. And it's like, hey, my wife, she doesn't really like technology all that much, so she doesn't have her phone nearby. And I'll call her. I know she's home and she's not there. And so how do I get a hold of her? I'm at the store. She wanted me to get something. I drop into one of the cameras on Brilliant to live view, and now I can have that two-way conversation. I say, hey, hon, what did you want me to get from the store? She's like, bananas, you idiot. I'm like, that's right. It was supposed to be bananas. So these seem like very, very simple features that we have that are built in. But once you really apply those real life experience into it, it starts to get the more value. People start to realize, yeah, I have done that. Or like, man, I'm always fiddling around for the light switch at night. It'd be nice if I had just a nightlight. Or walk into the closet, like when the light automatically turns on, you feel like a king. It's just an amazing feeling. Just like when stuff automatically works for you, the peace of mind. I had another experience here for the scenes in automation, which is probably our most powerful feature because of how simple it is. I had a neighbor text me at 10:30 at night. Hey, Oki, hope you're doing well, bud. Just want you to know your garage door's still open. You might want to close that. I'm like, hey, thanks, man. Super appreciate it. Don't worry about it. It's actually automatically going to close at 11 o'clock at night. I have some automation set. And he's like, really? You can do that? Mind you, this is a younger guy. I'm like, of course you can do that, dude. And you got to get with smart technology. But even those little things that I get a chance to, teach him about, kind of our product, what we do and how we come about. But these anecdotes, and you should be able to find your own from your experiences, whether it be focused around the simplicity of the automation, being able to double tap a dimmer switch for a special scene in a room. I tease with my shower time scene that you see me doing. The lights dim and the music plays and it's Bobby Darin's Splish Splash. And it's just, that really does ruin my Spotify review over here. But you should be able to find those pieces that not just resonate with you and your experience with Brilliant, whether it be in your house, in the office, in your showroom, or even what makes sense for the client when you're talking to them, what they're trying to solve. Hey, what are those kind of pain points you've had with technology? What are you looking to accomplish? Hearing what they say, we're like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if you had a tactile in-wall volume control so you're not fumbling around for your Sonos app because your hands are full, or quick access to it. Like, hey, did the kids ever leave music playing when you got home when they said they didn't? Well, you can actually check on that remotely with Brilliant, and being able to share those stories to bring the value that our product offers. The more anecdotes I can share, the more people are drawn to, yeah, that actually happens in my life. It'd be nice if I had a solution for it. So, when we think about these core values of the energy, the clarity, and the storytelling, it's going to make for a much more engaging demo. And for any of the things that I say, Please feel free, pilfer it, take it. They're yours as well. Claim them as your own. I'm not married to any of these stories. If you think it's going to help you sell and close a deal, take them, use them. And another thing, what makes a good demo, if you don't have the full capability, whether it be in your showroom or meeting with a client or something like that, one of the things we offer here at Brilliant, myself, I will join a client meeting of yours. If you set up a Google meeting or a Zoom or something like this, and you say, hey, Oki, my client, they're intrigued by the product. I've told them about it, but they really want to see it live in action. Would you hop on a demo? I am more than happy to do that. It's your presentation, it's your sale, it's everything. I hop on at a specific time, I give the demo around my house, and then I leave. And you do all of the closing. But I understand not everybody's house, not everybody's situated to necessarily have all the products, the full gamut of everything that we work with. But we want you to utilize us. Again, that sales enablement arm, that can help me. If you can't give that good demo, hit me up. I'll give that good demo to make sure you can close the deal. So the next piece of this is selling your brand. What do you do different? This is more just kind of operational as far as, kind of basic selling. We have gotten more into, we like to sell products. I love selling products, talking about the products, all these things that it can do. But really, it's about the solution selling and what's right for them. So, I always have to catch myself around the solution selling of, okay, what's the problem? What's the pain point? And how do we start to build and grow around that? Because what you'll end up finding is when we start to solution sell, instead of saying, hey, I have this one piece of product, it's going to do this, you can start to say, hey, well, what are your pain points with your smart home? What are you looking to kind of craft and curate? And that will inevitably lead to what's possible with the system to then build a bigger basket, which is really Brilliant's whole value prop. We want to make sure not only are you selling a Brilliant device, you're selling more, Ring devices, more Sonos devices, more thermostats, more shades, more speakers, whatever it may be, because the power of our integrations, we go further together than we do alone. And I've said this many a time. If I sell just a Brilliant, now I have a smart light switch. That's great, and I can dim that light. And there's motion to turn on that one light. I have a digital photo album, but where's the power of the automation? Where's my home working for me? What about that lock, automatically locking? The garage door, I mentioned automatically closing. Music pause, like all these different features are better when we start to solution sell. And it brings me back to where was I? I was in Pasadena at a builder event, I believe. Multifamily though, and the keynote speaker, he was this bigwig at can't remember which company, but he's up there. He's the developer, and he says, "Okay, the lock manufacturer, you're great as a lock manufacturer. My intercom is great as an intercom. My flooring is great as flooring. My PMS is great as a PMS." The next evolution of what the smart home needs to be is these partners and these brands working together to curate a partner solution that works for me, the developer. And that's kind of where we're going in the smart home is by solution selling, and doing what's right for them. We can make sure that, we're creating the experiences that are right for them. That's the idea. And when I say right for them, it's not just that main person we're selling to, it's also those secondary decision makers. It's the spouse, it's the kids, it's those little pieces those people that might be there to bring them the comfort, because there's oftentimes spousal approval. I mean, even here in my house, I have, two smart shades I run back when I show you back in my man cave, those two shades lower. I would love to have shades, I want a motorized shade right there. Can't get spousal approval. It's just part of how we've designed the house and everything like that. But if we can win over those secondary decision makers, then we can start to, really say, okay, it's solving not just for that main person, but for everybody. Because one thing I always say, and you can take this as well, is a smart home really that smart if it's not easy for every single person that walks through the front door? Those are the secondary decision makers. So my parents, who were born in 46 and 54, so they're 71 and 79 right now, my parents can use this system. It needs to be simple for them. It needs to be simple for the friends, the family, the kids, everyone walking over. Those are the secondary decision makers that start saying, man, that's really cool. I want this. If it's a friend or a neighbor that's coming on over, the kids can engage with it. I mean, even uploading like, hey, that photo you drew me, it's on the fridge there. Wouldn't it be cool to put that up on this Brilliant control? Well, yeah, absolutely. Those are the things that, yeah, mom, dad, I don't want that stuff. Absolutely. So we want to sell to the secondary decision makers. And I mentioned this, of course, we're selling solutions, not the products. That's the idea, because solutions are what people gravitate to. It eases those pain points. So when we talk about our brand, you're going to be able to position yourself and how you operate, how you do your business, but really making sure you're doing it the right way with bringing those solutions to the table. Now, with that, comes being a product expert. You need to know your stuff, and that will come with time and playing with it. That's partially why when you first sign up as a Brilliant Dealer, we have you order that demo kit. We want you to install that demo kit in your house, maybe in your showroom, give it to your team. You need to be playing around with the product to maximize everything that's there. So anytime I get a new product, whether it's a Brilliant device, any of the partner devices, I'm going, excuse me, I'm going through the settings. I'm testing everything out. I want to make sure I feel comfortable in demoing any of these experiences. And the best way to do it is become a product expert. And I'll be the first to tell you, I know, 90%. I know most of this stuff. There is still that 10% gap that I might not know. But, I don't want to talk about the 10%. If I'm talking about that little 10% into the nitty gritty, I'm not leaning onto the value prop that the product is generally trying to provide. I can get into the weeds. People have asked me, well, what's your programming language? And how are you dimming? Are you logarithmic? Are you linear? And I'm just like, I know the answer. I have some of that 10% knowledge, but if I'm getting into that, that's too far into the weeds. That's not what my client cares about. That's not what these people are caring about. That's more just a battle of who knows more about a product. Cool. You want to win that? You can win that all you want. I don't want to battle with you on that. Then if you're talking about that, then maybe this product's not going to be the right solution for what you're trying to accomplish. And that's just one simple case. It's really understanding the value proposition of the product, but by having all of that knowledge, it makes you more comfortable should those questions arise. Because if I get into those discussions, I'm generally guiding that integrator or that partner and saying, hey, that's awesome. You're asking about these things. And you need to know it, sure, some of this, but in the actual day-to-day application, when you're working with your clients, how relevant is that? Are this little nitty-gritty of the programming language and specific, and the coding, is that really going to matter for the end user? Is no, it's not. They just want to feel like, yes, that knowledge is really important. But either way, you want a product expert, and at Brilliant, we try all those tools, whether it be the direct training and education that you can organize through myself. That's a sales training. That's a technical training. We run through the electrical. We run through the installation, run through the configuration, that white glove. In addition to that, we have our free Brilliant Certified Expert program, which will kind of reinforce everything that we talk about during the training. They're designed to work hand in hand. So whether you take the Brilliant Certified Expert program first and then get a direct training with myself, or a direct training with myself and then take the Brilliant Certified Expert program, I know me blabbing on for an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you remember 10 to 15% of that, awesome, fantastic. It's you hear it from me and then you go through the training of like, oh, that's right, he was talking about that, or vice versa. Go through the training, and then when I talk about, yeah, that's right, I did see that in the training, to reinforce it. We all learn different ways. We want to make sure you are an expert on us, of course, and if you need support with those other products, we want to sure we're helping you out as much as you can. So utilize your assets that make available, the ones that we make, all the partner products. Sonos, they have their own training. Ring, they have their own training. All these brands generally have their own training. I encourage you to use it and even it to the next level. For at least here at Brilliant, if you have a large team or a team of people going out there, if you don't want them to go out there until they've been certified, let me know. You can say, hey, Oki, here are the emails of the people that are signing up. Can you let me know when they've completed your LMS? Absolutely not a problem. I'm more than happy to do that. So again, utilize us to do your homework to make sure you feel comfortable with the product. Getting close to the end here, this is a piece I really want to kind of take to heart. And what I mean by that is these core values. And I put inspect what you expect on there twice. And when I first got into the working world, it was, I was working my first job out of college. I taught English in Japan. And you always had to be, happy, bring the energy. You're teaching these people trying to learn English. But these two things, excuse me, really made, I think, me the foundation of kind of who I am today. And the first one is the experience comes first. And that's a core value of mine that I took actually from my Sonos days. And what I mean by that is pretty much what it says. If I can put the experience first for all of these clients and all these people, everything else is going to fall into place. So I said I've given this demo where I run around my house hundreds of times. It's my umpteenth millionth time giving it. It's if I'm giving the demo, chances are it's your first time seeing it or it's someone else's first time seeing it. And I have to remember that, yes, it's monotonous for me, but that experience is going to depend on my experience I provide to you as your first time. It's going to be everything. So I have to make sure that the experience comes first for that person to ensure that they're excited, they want to engage, they want to keep going further. So for you, when you're talking about these different things you sell, your experience and all that, it's that person's first time. So we need to make sure that their experience comes first. If I put their experience first, everything else is going to fall into place for me. And that's just on the demo side. Apply that to your business. If I make sure their experience inside the home comes first, they're going to come back to me for more business. Or, hey, I make sure everything is right for them with their experience. They're going to recommend me to a friend or a family member or something like that to generate more business. So when you put the experience first, people will remember how you make them feel. They're going to remember that and draw more business into you. So I've tried to keep that core value of the experience comes first into kind of everything that I've done. The second piece to this is inspect what you expect. If I expect my demo to work here in my house, I've inspected it. So I've double checked everything. So you've seen my demo. I'm going to stop my share real quick. So you're seeing me. I'm going to just spotlight for everyone. So my screen is the largest. So even the little things. So before this, we see I walk into my house, I go into my guest bathroom. I've already made sure that the motion detection is on, so my light turns on. I double checked that before I came into here. I've double checked all of my photos that are on there. Okay, when I talk about my gestures on this and the single finger swipe, before I came into here, I made sure that my swipe was on and it turned on my light. I double checked all of these things, making sure my slider, hey, is this mapped to my Sonos volume right now? No, it's mapped to my lights because I generally leave that on my Sonos volume. So every time I expect this demo to work, I'm checking everything that is working. I'm checking that I've pressed the doorbell and it pops up on the Brilliant Control. I'm checking all these different experiences. So when it comes time for the actual demo inside the house, it works. It's reliable. This is, how I live. All those little pieces, come into the little bits of deal. So inspect what you expect to happen is really important as it pertains to delivering a great experience and a great demo. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Not that, you don't need to see that. Where's my presentation? All the way at the end. I have a lot of slides that are open there. So you can figure out what you want your core values to be. You can take this if you want, take it to heart, that's fine. Again, this is just for me and kind of my role, how I go about working business, what I've found to be successful for me. And of course, practice, practice, practice out loud. I didn't need to put any sort of image right here of people blabbering, but your inner voice in your head and your outer voice, what you say, are actually different. One of the things I used to do when I managed a territory, when I was trying to give presentations all the time, I would give the presentation in my car to myself, talking out loud, because I could think in my head, these are the things that I want to say, these are the things that I want to say. And then when I actually say it, it's like, well, that came out differently. That wasn't quite right. So by saying it out loud, it kind of feels weird practicing to nobody, but it delivers a much better experience. I've given that demo around the house, before I got it down to a science where I know it like the back of my hand. I gave it, a good, I'd say 20 times here in my house, resetting it, doing everything, starting from scratch to make sure what I said was consistent, what I said was reliable, and it made it so I was ready to pivot in case something happened. So when I go up and I show the photos, I can use some sort of anecdote with whatever photo is on there as those photos change. So whether it's a photo of my dog, I lean into the dog situation. A photo of, my wife's friends or our friends, great. We talk about those friends and those experiences. A silly photo I've uploaded. Oh, great. Now we share how, we can upload all our silly photos of friends and family. Being able to pivot during your presentation to what that client wants is made easier by being able to practice and do this over and over again. So I encourage you to practice out loud. We've done things in the past where, whoever gets the best demo gets a little gift card for our teams, things like that. just to get people to do it, to see what people say, to see what people think. Everyone has their own experiences to draw from, but being able to share it out loud and practice it out loud is going to make you so much more polished when you're out there in front of the client. So please practice out loud. I can be your guinea pig if you need. But as far as the next steps here, I think those are the pieces that are going to make your demo shine. Of course, having all the products certainly helps. So fill out your showrooms with those are the products that we have. But that Brilliant Certified Expert program, sign up for that. Please take the learning in there. You can share it with your entire team. It's no problem. If you do want a direct training, you can reach out to myself. I can do the sales training. It's a 25-minute presentation followed by the 25-minute demo of me running around my house, leaving 10 minutes for Q&A. Or we can do the technical training. Again, we can walk you through the electrical for everything. We can walk you through the installation and configuration, walk you through the white glove, any one of those pieces, whichever you need, whichever you prefer. We can tailor that experience just for what you're looking for. Your purchasing portal as partners of us, if you haven't bookmarked it already, partners.brilliant.tech. That's where you make all your purchases. You should also have saved the pro support line, that number, 855-915-0444. I always stress this. Those are brilliant employees based out of our head office in San Mateo, California. We do not farm it out. It's not third party. It's not any sort of AI. For lack of better words, we care and we want to give you the best support we can. That is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 West Coast time. Sorry, East Coasters, you got to wait till about noon to get going on our support team, but we will be there late. So keep an eye out for the bi-monthly newsletter that we offer, and that kind of wraps up what really we believe will be a great demo experience that you can deliver then for your clients, and ways that we can really support you through that. So with that, let's see if I can see the chat and the questions. So again, this is also designed to be an open AMA. I want you to ask any questions about maybe things that, whether it be product related, feature related, please go ahead and type anything into the chat. I am looking over here. Looks like we do have a Q&A. Our good friend Adam Bresson. Hey, how's it going, Adam? So, hey, Brilliant. With the brand new Ring 4K cameras announced, will Brilliant be ready on day one for the new awesome cameras? That's a great question. I would assuming if those 4K cameras operate under the standard Ring API, then there's no reason those wouldn't be able to be delivered. If those are as a standard spotlight cam, stick-up cam, floodlight cam, doorbell camera, assuming it's the same API, which I would assume so, my guess is, yeah, those would work and pop up directly on Brilliant. So I'll double check with our partners at Ring so I can contact Mark Lee, who heads their builder channel, Todd Towie, the pros, or even Tommy Leonard, who's one of their regionals. Between the three of them, I can confirm that answer for you. But my intuition is telling me that yes, those cameras will work because they would fall under the same Ring app, which inherently would probably fall under the same API. So we should be good there. Another question popping on in. Thank you, Aaron. Hey, will one Brilliant login work for multiple builder model homes? Great question. The answer is yes. And here's actually what you would do. I love this feature of Zoom. So let me go ahead and share my iPhone screen. So give me just a second. iPhone via AirPlay. And let me go ahead and go the screen mirror on my iPhone. So here's my iPhone and here's the Brilliant app. So when you set up a home, there we go. We have right there at the top the Okimotos. If I wanted to install another home, if I hit that down arrow at the top, you see these are all the other homes that I'm currently logged into, okay? So let's say the Okimoto is just the main house, and that's, model home 1, model home 2, model home 3. When I set up another home, down here at the bottom, you can press create new home down there in orange, all the way at the bottom of the screen. When I press create a new home, I can just go model home, create, set a home passcode, and we can now go through that process of setting up another home. So just as Brilliant was set up, we can now do all these same things. So I'm just quickly going on through, yes, I'm Pacific Los Angeles, 94523. This is the exact same process that we'd have to set up a home itself. Not now, the home setup is complete. Do you need help installing? No, I don't. So cool, I've set up the model home. Now there's no devices in here, so it's the standard setup process. Hey, I know it's a 2-gang Brilliant in there. 2-switch control, great, it has wires in the back, and so on and so forth. So now we just set up that second home as we normally do. So straightforward, simple, and easy. Let me back all the way out. The other thing we can do, let me jump back into my home, the Okimotos. So let's say the model homes have already been set up, okay, but they were set up actually under different emails or different homes entirely. What I can then do is go to my settings gear, and you see that household. It says my name, Ryan Okimoto, me, right there in the middle. I can press this invite button and invite you or someone else into the home. So I would simply log into that model home, whichever model home 2, click the invite, and then invite myself into that. So now my normal model home 1 or my house or my app can get access to multiple homes. So if they're set up all individually under different emails, not a problem. Just add the emails in for the people that you want access to. And then that little drop down arrow at the top can give you access to all of those different homes. It's the easiest way to do it as far as getting into multiple homes for builder models. But that's a fantastic question. Does the integration with TP-Link Casa, is it working? I'm having problems for the Brilliant to find the dimmer switches. From Brilliant to find the, yeah, so our integration with TP-Link Casa works just fine. I haven't seen any issues at all with that. It's actually been one of the more reliable products. I would say as kind of basic troubleshooting, let's do the stupid thing first. I'm sure you've already done it, but turn them off, turn them back on. So whether it be on Brilliant, just to reset the control, or on the dimmer switches, our dimmer switches, just to pull out the safety disconnect and push it back in, just so we get a hard reset. I'd also recommend it on the Casa side as well. If you can just turn them off, turn them back on, I'm sure there's a reset device on there, or reboot, device on there. In addition, if that's not bringing it back online, you can go into the settings on your Works with Brilliant. So actually just go to Works with Brilliant, TP-Link Casa, and you can try to remove the integration and then re-add the integration. Essentially, it's a kind of like a fresh cloud handshake between us and the Casa devices to re-find everything that's associated with the account. If that's not working, I would really want to double check the strength of the Wi-Fi network for not just where Brilliant is, but also where those Casa switches are placed. Generally, the way to check that would be into the native Casa app. Just like on Brilliant, we can see that. On the native Casa app, I'm sure you can see the connectivity of the Wi-Fi to those dimmer switches, because that is a Wi-Fi and cloud-based integration for us. If you're still having issues there, that's about as far as my technical troubleshooting would be able to go. I'd recommend you call Brilliant support, and they can delve a little bit deeper into your exact system to see what's going on there. But no, there's no issues, no outages as far as I'm aware with the TP-Link Casa switches. Adam, another one, new upcoming integrations. Let's see here. What can I fully peel back? So I'll mention what we were talking about at CEDIA. So at CEDIA, back here just actually exactly a month ago, September 2nd, we're now October 2nd, we debuted PoE, which was great. So I know that's not an integration, but PoE Brilliant will be coming here end of December, so end of the year will be nice. But we have partnerships with Ring. So you mentioned the 4K cameras. That's one thing, but we're also going to be looking into another security partner. And I'll let you kind of do your sleuthing from there. So right now we do work with Residio and their Total Connect platform, but we want to make sure we're offering more solutions on that front for integrations. Beyond that, we are exploring more security partners. We are exploring more audio partners beyond just Sonos to make sure we can really bring value to you and your businesses. If there may be a different brand that you're looking for, we're looking into that. I'd say are the two probably most imminent pieces. But 2026 is still pretty open for other things we're going to be working on for integrations. And then Adam mentioned on the Casa switches, it does take Casa a while to show up. Yeah, so it could just be a cloud thing. It could just be a Casa device switch thing, but that's the best I can do for you right now, unfortunately. Fan speed control, great question there. I'd say on the hardware, nothing is imminent, beyond our PoE control. So fan speed control, that would require essentially a new sort of switch. That would have to probably be an individual like this. I can't tell you, it's on the whiteboard, but it's not necessarily on an imminent roadmap to do fan speed control. So for the interim, this will still operate in the on-off, either send power up to the fan or not send power. That's the mirror to see the fan that I have for me. Either send power up or send power down. You would still need that third-party remote control for fan. But these are the things that we want your feedback on. So Michael, thank you for that feedback. The rest of you, if you are seeing that, like, hey, I want fan speed control. I need to make a switch that does fan speed control. If enough of you start telling us like this is what we need to make, we'll make it. That's why we made PoE, because people were telling us you got to do PoE. We don't have the high volt license. I want to be able to place this wherever I want, make a PoE controller. So we're doing that. And if you ever want to send a request in, if I were to go to just support.brilliant.tech, but the main support site, send request right here at the top. When you send the request, you can fill out what you want. Hey, this is more than just getting a hold of them saying I have an issue. Put your name and email and let us know, like, we want this feature. We want this. Please send us that. We actually keep tabs of this, of what our partners are asking for and what they want. So let us know. Again, if fan speed control is it, fantastic. Put it in here. We keep track of what all of our partners are asking for in order to deliver the right products and solutions for you. So, got one more coming in. What's your limitation on connected devices? We were doing a large home on the beach that had more than 75 connected devices. I know Caseta had a hard limit of 75. This is a fantastic question. And this is where some of that technical knowledge comes into play. Let me go ahead and spotlight myself so I can show you. So, our Brilliant controls, these are Wi-Fi based devices. This takes an IP address. Okay, just one IP address, regardless if it's the 1, 2, 3, or 4 switch slider. Our Brilliant dimmer switches are not Wi-Fi. These are Brilliant Mesh, which is a version of Bluetooth. So as far as number of devices go, there's no limitation on the number of controls. It's only a limitation of your Wi-Fi network. Always the first thing we tell our partners to do is upgrade the Wi-Fi. You have to blanket the home in Wi-Fi with some sort of mesh system. It can be consumer level with Eero, Netgear Orbi, Google Wi-Fi. I don't care. It can be premium, Luxel, Ruckus, Meraki, Arachnus. As long as it's one network name, you need to blanket the home in Wi-Fi. You can have as many of these as you want. There is no limit. The limitation is your Wi-Fi network. We have a home in Texas, 47 of these bad boys, completely overkill. The wife's like, I want to see my grandkids everywhere. So everywhere there was light switch, they put in Brilliant. There's even one bad location. They had to break up like an 8 switch panel into 4 gang and 4 gang. It's what they wanted. I'm getting to the point that no limit to the number of these. As far as the dimmer switches go, because these are a Bluetooth mesh, couple things. One, you don't want to go more than 2 hops, maybe 3 hops in any one direction away from a Brilliant control. Okay, just for distance. I want to make sure you have a snappy and responsive effect. Theoretically, with mesh, you can go hop to hop to hop to hop to hop and keep going. But those further hops, well, it has to talk to before it gets back to the brains. The control is also responsible for all the updates on the dimmer switches. Now, engineering has told me for every 1 control, you can have 35 dimmers that's managing. Again, I don't like to stress the system that much. I think that's a lot personally. I am very comfortable with the number of for every 1 control, up to 20 dimmers. More than happy with that. You're going to get a fine, snappy, responsive experience. So if I have 2 controls in the house, I can go up to 40 dimmers. 3 controls, 60, so on and so forth. That's kind of the best practice and rule of thumb we like to go with. But as far as decking it out with number of devices, there is technically no limit, at least not that we've seen or encountered yet. But yeah, I have seen that with Caseta. I've also seen it with Philips Hue. I think they have a hard limit on the number of smart bulbs that they have. In those situations, it's just required like multiple Caseta accounts or multiple Hue accounts to bring it on into, or multiple Hue hubs, excuse me, to bring those into the system. But for us, no limitations. The only limitation is your Wi-Fi network or the number of dimmers that you put in tied to the Brilliant control. So again, best practice, I say no more than 20 dimmers per 1 Brilliant control, and you're going to get a great, fantastic experience. Also, don't go more than 1 or 2 hops in any one direction. 3rd hop, maybe if it's still close, you can do that. But a great way to check is you can actually look at the signal strength of the Brilliant dimmer switch to the Brilliant control. And here's some advanced technical knowledge that's really helpful for you. And under the advanced settings there, if your device is having issues, you can try changing the owner to a closer Brilliant smart home control. So it says living room control, it's what it's locked to. If I hit that settings, I can select manually. So from this dimmer switch, I can see the signal strength there. So it's connected to my living room control, which is at 34. That's the strongest connection. Looks like I could go to my dining room PoE control. It's also 34. Those are great. And then it has my kitchen control. Well, that has 15 signal strength. She shed control, 11. Those are lower. A higher number is better for us. And for me, logistically, this makes sense. My guest bathroom is right behind that TV. So that's the guest bathroom there. The closest control is the living room control that I have right there. So that's accurate. That makes sense. If for some reason, it was connecting to one that didn't have as great of a signal strength, you can manually adjust that. So just other pieces that are good for you to know in larger systems and deployments. And with that, no more questions have popped in. 45 minutes. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. Again, this session has been recorded. We'll send a follow-up email link afterwards. Share it with your team. Utilize myself. Utilize the assets that you have. If you have questions, reach out to myself, Oki, O-K-I, @brilliant.tech, and we are here for you. So have a great day, and we'll be in touch. Happy selling, everybody. Take care.